Welcome everybody. How are we guys doing today? Let me remove this sheet because it makes a lot of noise. We're going to be making a shirt with a V-neck, okay? We'll be cutting a shirt with a V-neck. If you can hear me, say hi. You are very welcome. I'm happy to have you here. I'm sorry, I'm trying to film on YouTube as well. All right. Okay, so first of all, you'll be needing up your material, which is what I'm going to be using today to make this. Okay, I'll be using up my material, which I've already gone ahead and folded into two, which is even the right side. Let me see. Okay, so I fold the right side facing right side. All right, now we want to cut this shirt, and I want it to be a free shirt. If you can hear me, say hi. If you're watching from YouTube, please kindly say hi. Okay? If you're watching from Facebook, go ahead and say hi. What we're going to do, we're going to be cutting up a shirt with a V-neck. And it's just a very simple shirt. I want to have a shirt like this. Not every time you wear a shirt that has a collar to it. Okay? You go ahead, fold your fabric into two. Right side facing right side. You'll be needing up your tailor chalk, which is what I have here. You can get any one of your choice, okay? And then you're going to be needing up your ruler. You can get any one of your choice. I have so many of them, but this is what I'm using for now. Then we're going to be using up a scissors. This is electric cutting scissors. You can get it on Amazon. All right, or you can get a normal scissors for beginner, because this electric cutting scissors is quite like very tricky. If you don't know how to use it, you may just destroy your fabric. This is what I'm using. Now, this is what I have. Sorry, that's not what I'm going to be using. In some cases, I can use it. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to start by drawing a straight line. I always like to do so. It's not like I always like to do so, but it is very important for you to start and do so. I want to make sure that those are on YouTube. They should see everything I'm going to be doing. So I'll start by drawing a straight line, which is going to be the guideline. Okay, this is just a normal shirt. This guideline is my shoulder line. This is it. Okay, now once I'm done doing so, the next thing I want to do is to go ahead. I'll be taking my shoulder measurement divided by 2. Shoulder measurement divided by 2. My shoulder measurement is 14. 14 divided by 2 is going to give me 7. But remember, this is not a fitting shirt. I'm going to add up half an inch to it, making it 7.5. Go ahead now and add up. I'll just mark that up here, 7.5. Then now, what we're going to do is to go ahead now. We'll be marking up the armhole depth line, okay? Armhole depth line. There are 2 ways of getting your armhole depth line. It's either you're going to take your shoulder measurement divided by 2. You use it. The same thing is going to work for you. Or you take round bust, divide it by 6. Yeah. Then you go ahead and add 1 inch to it, or some people even add ½ inch to it. So normally I always use the same thing like I use on my shoulder. So this 7.5 I use here, I'm going to use it, but since it's not going to be a fitting shirt, I'll go ahead and add ½ inch to it. Altogether is going to give me 8 inch. But before we go ahead and do so, what you want to do is to go down by 1 inch for your shoulder slope. All right, 1 inch for your shoulder slope. From that 1 inch, I'm going to go ahead and mark that 8 inch. Remember, shoulder measurement divided by 2 plus ½ inch, which is right there. This is it. Then I'll just go ahead and connect these points up with a straight line right there. Straight line. I'm going to connect these points up like this with a straight line all the way to here. Once I'm done doing so, we'll first of all go ahead now to mark the other part, because we're going to be working with a V neck. All right, let's first of all go ahead and mark from shoulder to the waist, if you are going to be using the waist, if you don't want to use the waist measurement, because if you're working on a fitting shirt, you have to use the waist measurement. If you're not working on a fitting shirt, it is not necessary for you to use your waist measurement. So simply what I'm going to do is to measure from the shoulder all the way to the waist, even though I'm not going to be using the waist measurement, but that's just going to be a guide for you people that want to use a fitting shirt. All the way to the half length. Half length is normally between 15 and 16 inch, depending on how tall you are. Sometimes you can get it 17 inch, like I said, depending on how tall you are. So mine is 15, which is the half length, is the waistline, okay? Then I'm going to move now to my hip line. To my hip line. Hip line all the way, my hip line from the shoulder to the hip line, which is 22 inch. But I don't want this here to end on my hip line. I'm just going to mark that for my guide, okay? 22 inch. Like I said, this shirt is going to be a very long and beautiful shirt. So I'll just go ahead. I want it to be long, something that you'll just be able to wear it with your pants. I mean, just bootcut pant, all those things, you know. So let me just go ahead and mark the hip measurement. From the hip measurement, I'm going to move down now to at least 25 inch. I'm going to move to 25 inch. Go ahead now, connect those points up with the straight line. Connect the waist. Connect the hip. I'm sorry, I did not mention how many inch are going to be folding up your fabric. You fold up the fabric is 1/4 of your hip measurement plus some extra 4 or 5 inch, depending on how free you want the shirt to be. So this is just the hemline, okay? This is the waistline. This is the hemline, all right? This is the hemline. You can choose for it to end on your hip. You can choose to add it up, but I'm still going to increase that up. Like I said, I want it to be a free shirt. Now, once we're done doing so, let's first of all go ahead and mark the V neck. So like I said, a V neck, it is just a very simple one. You can choose to go down by, depending on how open you want it to be at the front. You can choose to make it 6 inch, you can choose to make it 7 inch, you can choose to make it 8 inch, depending on how open you want it to be at the front. Okay, I hope I'm clear. All right. Remember, this shirt, we're not going to be adding any button to it, so you need it to be, open, so that your head should be able to pass through. All right, except you want to add up a button at the back or at the front. No, buttons are normally added at the front. If you're adding up buttons to it, it is different. The way I'm cutting it is different. Okay, so when you're adding up button to it, I'm going to explain how I'll be explaining that part on when I'm cutting up the back piece. Okay, this is the front. We're working on the front. What I'm going to do is, I've just marked that 6 inch right there. I'm going to go in here. You can go in up to 1 inch, but I'll just go in by 3/4 inch right there. From that point, I'm going to connect this up here. Then now what I'm going to do here is to go here in by 3 inch. You can go ahead and go in by 2.5 inch. Or the best way for you to know exactly the measurement you'll be needing is by taking round your neck and divide it by 6. When I say round my neck, not this small part here. Not this small part here. You have to measure up the highest part of your neck, which is actually this one here. When you take up a measuring thing, you don't take it at this top part, okay? You take it up here like this, okay? Make sure you take it up here, making sure that at least your one finger can pass through. All right, so you divide up, whatever you have, you divide it by 6. Okay, whatever answer you get from there, you're going to go ahead and mark it up here. Normally we use 3 by 3 inch. Okay, we normally use 3 inch for the neck width. Okay, when you're cutting a basic shirt, You use 2.5 for children, you use 2 for children. But for the best way for you to get that exact measurement you've been needing is by dividing round your neck by 6 so that you don't make any mistake from there. Good evening. So what I'm going to do from this point, I don't want it to be open, or I don't want it to be looking funny. So I'm going to go ahead now. I'll be using 2.075, which is 2 3/4 inch. I'll connect this point up from here. You can just go ahead and connect it up from here like this. If you really want it to be a V-neck, like, you just go ahead and connect it up from here like this, all this point. But I don't want it to be so. I want it to have like here, because we're going to be adding up a small, what did I mean? Yeah, because we're going to be adding it up. You know what I mean, right? You're going to be adding up that neck band, like those band. I've made something like this on this page. So this is it. You can still choose to increase this up. It's up to you. So now I can go ahead now and connect that from my shoulder to the shoulder slope. You see? This is what I have here. Now, what we need to do is, normally I've done it the opposite way. I've done it the opposite way. Measure up whatever you have from here to here and divide that by 2, which is 7.5 divided by 2 is going to give me 3.075, right? Yeah, 3.075. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and mark it up. 3.075 is the center of it. I'm going to go in by 1/2 inch, because definitely I'll be needing 1/2 inch to stitch it up to it. Then here, I'll come here. I'm going to put 1/4 of my bust measurement. Round bust I'm working with is 34. 34 divided by 4. I'm going to get 8.5. I'll mark that 8.5 right there. 8.5 right here. Then I'll just go ahead now. I'm going to add up 1.5, meaning the 1/2 inch is going to be for the 1.5, 2 inch. I'll go ahead and add 2 inch from there. So that 1 inch is going to be for my sewing allowance. 1 inch is going to be for my sewing allowance. Okay. Like I said, if you don't want it to be fitted at the waist, go ahead and just connect. Take your hip measurement divided by 4. Whatever you get, you're just going to mark it on the waist. You're going to mark it up on the hip. Okay. If you're making a free shirt. But this case, I'm going to take round my waist and divide it by 4. It's not going to be a fitting shirt, but it's going to be free. Okay. So round my waist is 28. 28 divided by 4 is going to give me 7. Then plus 2 inch is going to give me 9 inch. Like I said, it is not a fitting shape. Meaning that 1 inch is going to serve for my sewing allowance, while the other inch serve for the ease. Okay, remember, we folded our fabric into 2. I'm going to do the same thing at the hemline. I'll take round hip divided by 4. My round hip is 38. 38 divided by 4, if I'm not mistaken, right? 38 divided by 4 is 9.5. Let's just go ahead. 38 divided by 4. Don't go and be cracking your head. Just do it like our mothers used to do. Fold up your tape like this into 2. Then you pick from this part, of course, it is. You fold it again into 2, which is 9.5. For me to be sure. 9.5, I'm going to mark it up here at the hemline. Just go ahead and mark. 9.5. Remember that we added allowance here, but this is the hip measurement. So I'm just going to go ahead. I'll be adding 2 inch. Yeah. 2 inch. From there, we'll connect this point from here to here like this, and we'll just connect this part, connect that part. Okay? All right. So this is what we're going to do. Where are you running to, my friend? I'm going to go ahead and connect it up. You can use your free hand if you don't have a French curve. and connect this part up. Just connect it that up. I'm gonna go ahead and connect this part up from here to here, like that. Then I'm gonna bring this part up from here to here. When you're connecting it up, make sure that here you don't have that funny curve. You want to have it natural curve. Natural curve. You know what I mean, right? Okay, I'm gonna pull this up here. Like remember I said I do not want the length to really end here. So I want to kind of have it, I want to have like a U. Yeah, a U at the front. It's not a square, but a U. Because if it is a square, I'm just going to go ahead and connect it up like this straight. I don't want it to be a square. Rather than I want it to be a little bit of U. All right. So what I'm going to do is from this part, you can either choose not to connect it on your hip line, okay? Connect it on your hip line. You can either choose from the, from the waist, you can come down like this. Like if you really want it to start from the waist. From the waist, you can come down by 4 inches. You just mark it up. Then you're going to get it. But like I said, I want mine to be long. I want to have it a very long a long shirt. It's like something like a gown, but it's a shirt. Okay, you know what I'm talking about. And I can put it on with a pencil or a legging or anything. So what I'm going to do is at this point, I will have to come down here by 7 inches. Oh, 8 inches, meaning that I'm using a lot of This is my 8 inch right there. Now what I'm going to do, like I said, I don't want it to be in a form of a square, but rather I want it to be in a form of a U. All right, a U shape. A U shape. Okay, let's do something. From this point, I'm going to come here and mark 7 inches. Remember, from here I mark 8 inches, right? From this point, I mark 8 inches. Then I'm going to come like, let's just say, let's mark up the center of this point. What we have here is 11.075, which is 11 and 3/4. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and fold that into 2 to get up my center. From that center, which is here, from the center, I will go ahead now mark 7 inches, or you can mark 6.5 inches. Then from here, you're going to go ahead and mark at least 5.5. Then from this point, you just go ahead and connect that up. That is going to be much easier for you beginners. Oh my God, my beginners in the building. Let me talk like, oh. I know, I didn't do it well. You think that, yeah, of course. You see now, this point, I just come in here like a U. It's not kind of, I don't want it to be sharp, but just give it a little bit of curve, all right? A little bit of curve right there. A little bit of curve. Take your time, please. Just take your time. Connect that part up. So now I'm done. I'm done with the front. Now you know that when we are actually we are cutting it directly on our fabric, so we need to add that half inch of sewing allowance. If you're actually drafting it on your pattern, you could go ahead and add it when you're cutting it on your fabric. But now I'm cutting it directly on my fabric, so I need to add up that half inch of sewing allowance. I added 1 inch here, but here I don't have that half inch, and here I don't have that half inch. So this is what we're going to do. Please remember always to add this half inch, especially here at the shoulder, because if you don't, by the time you stitch it, you see that your shirt is kind of, it's almost choking you up because of that half inch that you do not add. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead. You can add up to 1 inch, but I'll just be adding half inch. Half inch is good for me to go. I'm going to come here and add up that half inch. Then I'm just going to bring this guy up here and I'm going to connect it all the way to this point. Then I'll bring this doo-doo here. And here, when I'm just cutting it, remember that I was supposed to go in. I was supposed to go in by 1 inch. I end up going in by ½ inch, but we're still going to go again and replace back. Meaning that altogether we went in by 1 inch. If we were going in by 1 inch to travel here, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut from this line up here like this. Okay, so it is time for us to cut. It's time for us to cut. Merry Christmas to you people out there. If you're a beginner, please stay away from this. Until you practice and know it. If you're a beginner, please stay away from this. This thing I remember. Oh, the one we're actually using in school was kind of a little bit different from this one. Okay, now the curvy part, you need to go through it a bit by bit, not to rush yourself. I'm gonna go ahead and move this aside. Then I'm gonna bring this part up here. You know, one thing I love about this cutting scissors, you know, one thing I love about it, remember that I'm still going to go ahead. I'll be leaving up about ½ inch because we'll also be needing that up to. This is it. It's just something like this, you see. You can see, right? Then we'll add up that band to it. I can choose to make it more deeper. I can choose to make it more deeper. You can choose to make it more deeper. So I'm just going to go ahead and fold this over. We'll be using this part. This is the front. Normally, if you're cutting up a shirt, we normally start from the back, but I start from the front. Okay? We'll be using this part up to cut the back, which is quite very, very, very easy. But the back is just a normal neck. There's no V at the back. Go ahead and fold your fabric into 2 again. This time around, I'm doing it so that you guys will not ask me, how did you fold out your fabric now? You know, I don't like always getting this paper because when you sew it, it will stick to it. Anyway, but let's hope that we're not going to get there. Hoping that we're not going to get there. Okay, so now I'm just going to go ahead and take that front and place it on it, and we're going to go ahead and cut. So when I was cutting up the front, I did explain that if you're actually making a shirt with a button, you're going to be cutting it different way. We don't cut it like we've just done this one. So when you're actually cutting up a shirt with a button, I'm just indicating it up here at the back, but I'll not be cutting my shirt with a button. What you normally do is to add the buttonhole, the button allowance here at the front. Normally you leave 1½ inch because you fold ½ inch inward and then you fold it again inward to get that button. But here I'm not going to be adding up here. I already have a tutorial on this my page on my YouTube. If you're watching from YouTube, on how to go about cutting that the shirt with button. Now we are cutting up the back. Let me give it some pins. Let me pin them up. One thing I always advise anybody, if you want to like cut anything, please go ahead, sprinkle water. If you're using especially African print, or sprinkle water on your fabric, press it up, or you wash it. If you're scared that maybe color is going to come out, you put a lot. You can just carry salt on your full palms, hand like this, full, put it into water, steep the piece on it, just move it, dry it up, and then you press it. Then you can go ahead and cut and sew. Because this African print like this now, sometimes you just cut like this, by the time you press it up, you see that it comes very, very smooth. Okay, so for, like I said, for the back, it is quite very an easy one. This is where we did, and this is our allowance of 1/2 inch that we added. For the back, what we're going to do is we're going to go down by 1/2 inch, go down, no, 1 inch. 1 inch is good. 1 inch is good to go. 1 inch, 1 inch. We're going to connect it all the way to that 1 inch. That's just all. And then this part here, we'll make sure that we'll cut it a little bit, not like the back. The back was not like the front. The front was quite like a little bit deeper, but the back, you just have to cut it a little bit outward. Okay, that's just it for the back. We're going to cut everything same except of the neck depth, the armhole. The rest is going to be the same. That's why. You see the way I'm taking my time, right? Normally, I always do it the opposite way. So I'm going to come here, see? Take your time, go ahead and cut that off. I'm cutting from here. Oh, sorry. So that's just the back. And the next thing we're going to do is to cut our sleeve. This is the shirt. It's quite a very long one. You can see. It's beautiful. The material is fire. So when you cut up your shirt, normally when you cut up your sleeve, sorry, what you normally do is to measure up whatever we have from here to here, here to here, and here to here. What I have there is 11 inch. I'm going to minus 1/2 inch to it, except you want to add it the other way around. Should I minus 1/2 inch? No, we join it up the other way around. 11 inch. We'll go ahead now, fold. Let's see what we have. Hey, it's almost finished, yeah? I do not have piece for my shirt, for my sleeve. When you want to make up your sleeve, you normally go ahead. I don't like this thing, eh? I don't know why I don't like it. Do you guys like me? Let me see what I have there. It's not going to be enough for a long sleeve. No, a long sleeve is normally between 23 inch. Should I go in a long sleeve? Okay. So, like I said, I don't like to have this plastic. Even when you press it over, it's still this paper. Because you still press it, it will be sticky. Except you have to wash it twice or 3 times before you can go ahead. Hey, I hope I still have that fabric for the collar. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this one is going to be enough for the collar. The band. Not actually collar. We're not making up the shape with the collar. So I'm just going to go ahead and fold my fabric into 2. I want to check something. How is this one being folded? Okay. Yeah, it's good. I'm going to try to check it. So I've just folded my my fabric into two. I'm actually checking up the design to follow up. You know, I don't want to kind of add it. It should be looking funny, looking the opposite way. So I think that if I add it up like this, yeah, yeah. So I have two pieces here folded into two. I'll be cutting the two sleeves as ones, okay? Oh, look at, let me see this one. This one we have to really manage it up. I hope that it's going to be enough for that. Even though I'm a very tiny person. Now, I have to go ahead and good evening. What are you cutting? I'm cutting up a shirt. The title is there now. I think I put it there. So first of all, draw a straight line. When you're cutting off your sleeve, what I've just done is to fold my fabric into two, then I refold it again into four. Let me check what I have here. Okay. Let me check it out. I'm going to do it this way. I think, yeah. Okay, I was supposed to use this side, but this place is kind of tricky, so this is going to be for the downer part. All right. I'm reading comment, my friend. I'm reading comment. You from YouTube. I read comment, but I have to concentrate at too. So draw a straight line, which is going to be the guideline. Try to move this out. A straight line. Now, this is how I'm going to do. Go ahead, mark your sleeve cap. How to get a sleeve cap is by taking round the bust measurement, divide it by 12. Then you add half an inch to it. It is normally between 4 and 5 inch. It is normally between 4 and 5 inch. So I will just go ahead. I'm going to mark 4.5. Like I said, it's normally between 4.5 inch. Go ahead and mark that point up. Connect that up with a straight line. The next thing I'm going to do is, remember, this is the folded edge. I was supposed to use this other side, but since here is kind of a little bit tiny, I have to use this top part, okay? So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to come here like this. I will take round the armhole divided by 2, which round the armhole divided by 2 is 15. I'll just go ahead now. I'll add 1.5 inch to it. All right. Now, what we're going to do, connect these points up like this, all the way straight. Like this, straight. You see what I've just done, right? You see what I've done here? Sorry. You see what I've done here, right? Now, measure up whatever you have from here to here, divided by 2, which is 9.5 divided by 2. Go ahead and fold up your tape. Don't crack your hair for nothing. 9.5 divided by 2, whatever we have is 4.075. I'm going to go ahead now and just mark that point up. This is the center. From the center, I'm still going to go ahead and measure up whatever I have there and divide it by 2, which is right there. I'm going to go ahead and, which is right here. I'm also going to go ahead and mark that point up. From this center, I'm going to mark up that point. Now, what we're going to do, normally, from this point, you can go up by 2 inch. Okay? Or you just connect it from this point all the way to here. Or you can go up. What I have here is 1.5 inch. Just go up by 1.5. It's not even 1.5 inch. 3/4 inch. From this point, you mark 3/4 inch. From here, you go up by 1 inch. Then from this point, you go down by 1/2 inch. You get it? From here, 1.5 inch, 1 inch, go down here 1/2 inch. Okay? Now, just go ahead and connect it up from this point. Sorry, if you are not seeing from this point like that, you can use your free hand. Just I'm doing it in the opposite way. use your free hand. Then from here, you want to kind of just go ahead and pass it up from here all the way to here. You see? Then you're going to make sure that you pass here. Don't make it too open here. Like that, all the way to that half inch. You see what I've just done? Don't make it too deep at this point, at that half inch. Don't make it too deep. I'm going to go ahead and reconnect that up like this. You see? All the way to here. Then that's just it for the sleeve. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark the upper arm. Mine is 10 inch. Go ahead and measure yours and you mark that up. I'm going to measure from the sleeve cap. I'll go down by 10 inch. Then measure the length of your sleeve. What I have here is about, let me see what I have here. How much? 20. Woo! Normally 30 means I have to add a small little band. What I have here is 22, meaning that I have to go ahead and add about 1 inch because my long sleeve length is 23. I have to add a small band to it, or I'll just leave it up like that. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and mark that up. So I'll take around my wrist. Normally what I do is from this point, connect that up with a straight line. Let me come and tell you what I normally do. Okay, you take round your upper arm, which is 10 inch, divided by 2, 5, right? Mark. Then from this 5, what I'm going to do is to minus 2 inch from there. I'll get whatever I have from here. Normally it's round 6. Minus 2 inch from there, you are going to get around your wrist. 6 divided by 2 is going to give me 3. I'm going to go ahead and add 1 inch. Okay, for ease. Okay, meaning that 1 inch for ease. Then I also come here and add 1 inch. And we're good to go. Sewing lines. Connect those points up like that. All the way to this point. This point. This is the line, right? This is it. I've just cut up. This is the sleeve. Now I've cut. I'm done with the sleeve. I'm just going to go ahead and pin that up. Normally I was supposed to pin that up from the beginning so that it should not move when I'm walking up. Okay, when cutting, always make sure you add up your half inch. So at this point, I'm going to this is it, my sleeve. Let me just separate it up here. I have my 2 sleeves. Now we're going to go ahead and open one piece of it, making sure that this part here is good and flat. We will have to deepen it up. You have to choose one side to be the front. Go ahead and zipping it up by half an inch. Half inch. Just make sure that the front is more deeper than the back. For the sleeve, it's always like that. I'll use my scissors now because I don't want to go ahead and mess up this fabric because first of all, I don't have enough fabric. Once I'm done doing so, I will just go ahead and notch so that I should know that is the front. That is all for your shirt. The sewing is coming up not very soon, maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow is Friday. No, tomorrow I'm working full day, so maybe in the evening, yeah, when I come back from work. So I have my 2 sleeve here. These are my 2 sleeve. Go ahead and just fold it over. I have my 2 sleeve here, my 2 sleeve, and I have our shirt, the back and the front. You're gonna just go ahead and add this up here. You see, this is it, and you're good to go. You are good to go. So for the band, this part, when we stitch it, we'll be joining it up together, and this downer part as well. This, we're not going to do it in this live stream. So I hope this was kind enough. I have to keep all these pieces. Let me see. Okay. Let me check. I'm going to be cutting about 2 inch. What I had was 6, then I added 1 inch to it. You have to do the same. Altogether is 4, but I need to join this part up. This is the band that is going to go here. I have to attach it up to it. Go ahead and fold it over like that. Then you just go ahead and attach it up to it. So I already have the band. What we have now remaining is the collar that is going to go to it. So I hope this was helpful. Thank you, Ma. More knowledge and understanding. Oh, thanks. You're welcome. Good afternoon. I'm new to your channel. Oh, you're welcome. Sorry, I was not reading comments because you know sometimes I need to concentrate. So we are done cutting. Hoping that next time we are going to stitch it all together. If I don't stitch it tomorrow, maybe it's going to be on Saturday because tomorrow I'm working full day. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. I hope to see you some other time. Stay cool. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year in advance. Hope to see you guys very soon. Bye. Sharon, you're late. Don't worry, I'll post it. Bye-bye. Those of you watching me from YouTube, I hope to see you some other time. Bye. When I'm doing the sewing is going to come up very soon. Hope to see you guys. My face. Stop.